What's up, y'all? We back with another episode of the TruthTiger experience, and we're going to talk about supernatural. And supernatural forces are at play all the time here. All the time. There is so much more than this 3D physical reality. There are spiritual realms, and there is a whole spiritual world that is happening. Society will tell us that it's just this physical world. There is not really things beyond this. Science will tell us there's a quantum realm of infinite possibilities. So even if you really know science well, you know that this idea of no spirituality is kind of a load of bunk, but it's what society wants us to believe, to keep us small, to keep us in the box, and just to keep our thinking small. And ultimately society is evil and wants to separate us from our creator, and a good way of doing that is just making people think that there's no spiritual realm, no spirituality is at play here. You know, last night I was running on the treadmill, and as I was at the gym, I was thinking, you know, it'd be nice tonight, some Chipotle. I didn't have any food at home, so I was like, I want to run out, grab a bowl of Chipotle, eat it, that'd be great. And right as I'm thinking that, you know, or not right as I'm thinking that, but right after I'm thinking that, I open up my email, I see some email from YouTube, and, you know, some, whatever, I open it up, it's some rewards program perks. What's in there? A $15 gift card to Chipotle. I thought about it, and it was just right there. I'm like, what the heck? That is really freaking crazy. That's nuts. That's awesome, you know? And just little things like that, synchronicities like that I'm like, whoa, how's that happening? That's really awesome. So God gave me the gift of some free Chipotle. That was pretty cool. Everything comes from God anyways, whether you pay money for it or not. Point of order there, but it's like, wow, I just got some free Chipotle. Awesome. Really cool. And yeah, just stuff like that. Like, I see repeating number patterns pretty much everywhere. I've been seeing 222 like crazy, 111 like crazy. I'll see 666 too, so not all these repeating number patterns are good. Some of them are warning me of things, but I'll see this stuff like everywhere, like multiple times a day, like non-stop, you know. There's non-stops, like little signs I'm being shown from God. And, you know, it's because there is a supernatural realm. There is God, there are angels, there are demons, there is all kind of a spiritual realm out there. And a lot of these narcissists and a lot of this crazy stuff we have to go through and crazy stuff that happens to us, it's the devil directly sending his agents into our life to try to cause chaos. Similarly, God will send people into our lives to help us out when we need it and to encourage us when we need it through this struggle. You know, I remember there's a time in my life where I was very broke. I had very little money. I lost my job. A bunch of stuff was happening. And I'm at the grocery store, and a random homeless guy just hands me a $10 gift certificate for groceries. He's like, I don't need this, man. Here you go. And just walks away. I'm like, whoa. Did a homeless dude just give me money? What? How does that work? But hey, you know, supernatural forces are at play. They are at play, and it's very unexplainable kind of things happen. I remember I was living in an area of the city that had a lot of homeless people, a lot of drugs, mental health issues, people sleeping on the street, whatever. Just a lot of that going on. And, you know, I remember I was walking by some homeless guy, whatever. I just thought, all right, whatever, it's another homeless guy. A lot of that out here in this area. And then he stops and goes to talk to me, and I'm like, all right, I wonder what this is about. He wants to ask me for $1 or something, whatever. And then he says, hey, man, I want to tell you that I got in this program. I got an apartment. I got this. I got that. I got the programs to work. I'm getting off the street. I have an apartment. I have a place. I'm not on the streets anymore. I was on the streets for, I don't know what he said, how many years, but like 10 years or something. And I'm like, dang, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. It's, cool. Bring it in, dude. You're not on the street anymore. That's really cool. Good for you. Wow. And I felt very encouraged by that. But I kind of wondered, like, I did not know this guy from Adam. Why did he stop me, of all people, of everybody walking down the street? He just stopped and grabbed me and told me that. And I was like, what? That's so random. That is so weird. But I was very encouraged by it, and I was very happy to hear it, and it really lifted me up a lot for him to tell me that, and I'm glad he did. And I think it was God giving me some encouragement to show me that, like, that people are being taken care of, and that, like, good things happen, and that people get out of the trenches and stuff. And that was something I needed to see. I had that happen, and I was like, whoa. As I'm making this video, I just have more and more stories flooding into my mind. I had another one happen where it was Thanksgiving. I was alone. I had recently stopped, hanging around the family because there was toxicity there and it wasn't good for me. And, I'm alone. I'm kind of just walking around, taking a little walk to get my mind off things. And this girl just runs up to me, gives me this hand-drawn Thanksgiving card, and then just sketches away right quick. It's this hand-drawn thing that said Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know, she looked like she was probably in her early 20s or something, but I was like, what? You're just giving that to me randomly? Thanks, I'll take it, but you have this stuff that happens where a random stranger will interact with me in a very unexpected way, and I could tell the Spirit of God is moving them to do these things that they would not normally naturally do. And it's amazing, and this world is not just about materialism and making money and politics, and it's not about that at all. There's a spiritual realm that is so much bigger. There's the power of knowledge, the power of faith, the power of having a good covenant and a connection with God. There's so much power, and it's all spiritual. So be strong in your prayer, pray to God, be strong with God, study the knowledge, read the Bible, whatever, try to gain the knowledge of what's really going on. Our true history has been repressed. Everything that's happened, this whole world is just kind of a lie, so seek spiritual truth, seek out God. Don't get caught up in the way of the world. Don't get caught up in all this politics and whatever, all this chasing money and chasing popularity and whatever. Don't get caught up in all that. There's a spiritual realm, and there are spiritual powers, and there's things that are so much bigger than us. So stay strong in prayer, stay strong with God, keep moving forward, keep rocking. It's all spiritual, it's all supernatural. You talk to people, so many people have stories. Just talk to people here and there that are comfortable talking about this, and the amount of people who have stories like this is crazy. It's crazy. There's so many stories of just supernatural things. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. God bless, much love, and I will catch you all next time.